listeners, welcome back to the Purple Broom Apothecary. I am your hostess, Natalie, and this video is going to be about leadership in the witchy community. Over the last couple of years, we have lost a lot of really strong people in the community, a lot of witches that had taken on a leadership role either through lectures and courses or starting traditions and books and that sort of thing. And some of those people include really big names like Raymond Buckland, Dr. Buckland, who is considered the father of modern witchcraft in the United States. He was of the Gardnerian tradition. I believe he was initiated by Gardner himself and brought those traditions here to the United States. He had a pivotal role in my journey on this path, and when I'm so very grateful that I got an opportunity to tell him how much Big Blue meant to me and how much of an impact it had on my life and what it did for me before he passed, because I think when people have a big influence on you like that, you want them to know, and you want to give them thanks for putting that out there, because it really made it easy for me to understand that this is the way I've been my whole life. I never fit in anywhere, and I could never figure out why I didn't fit in. I would try so hard to be normal, but it was honestly like wearing a shoe that was too small. I just could never fit in. You know, my family's a little on the odd side anyway, but really there were things about myself that were things I couldn't explain, or that I just never clicked with anything before. And so getting the opportunity to tell Dr. Buckland that this has made a big impact on my life was key. We've lost people like Raven Gramassi, who passed away earlier this year from pancreatic cancer. That was a huge loss. And I know I've done some reviews on some of Mr. Gramassi's books, and I didn't necessarily jive with everything he had to say, but it was influential enough that it helped me on my path one way or the other. I mean, whether I agree with something or not, it always helps me on my path, because I have to step back and ask myself, why doesn't this resonate with me? He was very strong on, you need a traditional background, that, your path is your path, but there are certain things that underlie witchcraft as a path that make you a witch. And he felt like perhaps there was too much of this going on your own way and not enough of these are the key details or morals that keep us where we are. And I kind of agreed with that to an extent. We lost Aiden Coy, who was a fellow Texan. She was a graduate of UT in Austin. She had been initiated into a coven in San Antonio in '83. She wrote a lot of books on the Celtic path and fairy lore, and a wonderful book called Advanced Witchcraft. That was great, because there came a point where a lot of the books that I was seeing seemed to be geared towards people starting out on the path, and that was great. But at that point, I felt I'd moved beyond that and wanted to delve deeper into the craft, and so that book was a good resource for me. Then, there have been others, so many others. We've lost wand makers, we've lost shop owners, and the question came up in a discussion on Facebook, well, who are going to be the next leaders? And I thought that's kind of an odd question, because, there's so much about the path of the witch that is personal, that is like, well, do you need that kind of leadership? Because we don't really have what I consider a dogmatic leadership, right? We don't have a magisterium or preachers or anything like that. But there are certainly people who are still leaders that are still with us, like Lori Cabot and Christopher Penchick and Timothy Roderick. And these are people who are currently leading traditions, teaching classes, bringing people into their path. I believe Stephanie Taylor is keeping Raven Gramassi's Birch and Willow tradition going. So you know, those things are still there, and there's still leadership in the community. It's not like we've lost everything. But then there are new people who are coming up and publishing books, people like Matt Aron, who is showing himself to be quite a leader in the craft. Joey Morris has published several books now, I think 3, and her YouTube channel is very popular. Lady Grave Dancer, she's been very popular. Arwen Lynch Poe, she's been very popular, and she's great in the tarot community. Annabelle Wen, very big in the tarot community, has published several books, and I consider her quite a leader in the craft. Kellyanne Maddox. So it depends on my opinion as to where you're looking, as to where is the leadership going to emerge from. The thing is that leadership emerges on its own. You know, and if you're one of those people that you feel like, oh my God, these people are gone, who am I going to turn to now? Maybe you should step back and take a look at yourself and ask, why are you so insecure that you feel you must have an outside leadership? I do think leadership emerges on its own. I think that those people will make themselves known through their writings and their teachings and their publications and what they do, and that leadership will emerge from various different areas to come together to provide a well-rounded community. And I think that if you're one of these people that's in free fall panic because we've lost a few people who were pivotal in the community, either A, you're not looking around enough in the community because there are still plenty of leaders out there, or B, maybe you're not taking the leadership role that you yourself should be taking. You know, if you really feel that leadership is that necessary and strong in the community, then maybe it's time for you to step up and start doing some stuff of your own. Start a YouTube channel, start a Patreon, start writing books, and you don't need a publisher to do that. You can do your own on CreateSpace, which now does Kindle Direct Publishing. So get yourself out there. Start taking that leadership role yourself if you really feel leadership is so necessary. Or if you feel like you must have a leader to guide you, look at where you are on your journey and ask yourself, why is that? It could just be that there's some underlying shadow work that needs to be done there that's making you fearful about stepping out on your own and being confident in your abilities as witch. So that's kind of my take on it. I thought it was an interesting topic that came up, and I actually think it was Matt Aron had something come up on that, and he made a comment about it. And the thought's been in my head for a couple of months now that I was going to do a video on this, and I just haven't had a chance to do it. So since I had a couple of cancellations this morning, I thought I'd take a few moments to talk about it. So, you know, I realize this has been kind of a short video, but I really don't think there's a lot to say on the topic other than leadership is there. Okay, it's going to emerge on its own, and those people will show themselves as time goes by through their works. Okay, and if you're one of those people that feels like, oh my God, I've got to have a leader, I got to turn to somebody, find out why you're feeling that way. Is it that you really just are not confident in your own skills, or is it that you don't feel you know enough yet and you're looking to that leadership? Then look around a little harder, because it's still out there. And I've given you some good resources to look into, so please do. So that's it, man. I mean, it's going to show itself as far as, you know, where leadership goes. Maybe you should become part of it. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope to get back to making some videos on a regular basis soon. There's been a big upsurge in business, and it's been kind of crazy, and I'm working 6 days a week, really 7, but I'm seeing clients 6 days a week for speech pathology, so I haven't had a lot of time to make the videos. We do have the new season, season 11 of Witch is the Moon, is coming up. Is coming up soon, and that will be starting around the week of Letha. So just stay tuned, folks. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Be blessed.